First, there's going to be hearings on the open carry and campus carry items. Those are obviously hot button issues for a lot of folks. Constitutional carry is not going to be in that hearing. The open carry that's being discussed in the Senate is legislation that would allow folks their concealed carry permits to open carry firearms. Then the campus carry deals with licensed concealed carry holders carrying weapons on public colleges and university campuses. So those two measures are getting a hearing in the Senate this Thursday. There's also continuing hearings going on the budget. Today they're actually having hearings on higher education. Higher education, of course, where there's been a real battleground on a whole lot of issues. Those hearings are going on right now over at the Senate and Jay Nelson's Senate Finance Committee. In 2 weeks, we're going to start, next week, we're going to start having hearings in nominations. Those are the places where the agency heads are selected. A lot of us, for a long time, have ignored that process. We have just kind of assumed that whoever's being appointed to run the various agencies and commissions, they must be okay and know what they're talking about. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not so true. Particularly when you consider that our agencies and commissions, there are various strange processes by which folks can get nominated. They're not always the creation of the governor or the lieutenant governor or even the speaker. There's some weird things in state law. And lastly, these folks, once they're in, they're in. And it's really hard to get them out. The actions they take have, in a lot of cases, the weight of law behind them. So it's critical that we begin paying more attention to the operations of agencies and commissions. Brian Birdwell is the chair of the Senate Committee on Nominations. I expect that he's going to be asking a lot of tough questions, a lot of these folks. And the word that I've heard from his office and others is he would appreciate more input from citizens in the nominations process. Again, it's something that we haven't seen in the past. So I would encourage you to take a look at the nominations coming up, take a look at the agenda that's posted on the Senate's website, and as you either have information or knowledge about the issue area, whatever the agency might be, or you have knowledge or information about the nominees, make sure you let them know. Don't assume someone else will. With that, any other questions or thoughts?
Any word on when 3 particularly high-profile nominations are going to be coming up?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, Adam's talking about the 3 nominees to the University of Texas Board of Regents. I encourage you to take a look at a post that Tony McDonald put up on PowerTexans.com over the past couple of days, where he goes into some very specific details about 2 of the 3 appointees. Sarah Tucker, who is a very loud and passionate defender of Common Core. She promotes Common Core. Her business interests are around Common Core. She's also had some, as Tony uncovered, some interesting relationship with higher ed spending. As Undersecretary at the U.S. Department of Education, one of her first acts was to forgive about $280 million in problems with a private company, a student loan company, forgave them for overcharging the taxpayers $280 million in a student loan scam. So that's problematic when something like that goes on to the Board of Regents. Perhaps even more so is David Beck, an attorney from the Houston area, who the recently released Attorney General's report of the problems in finance at the UT Law School, the Law School Foundation, seemed to indicate that David Beck was more than hip deep in a lot of those problems. When their nominations and that of Steve Hicks, who's been serving on the Board of Regents, when that will go forward. Could be as early as the end of February, could be into March. When those hearings will take place.
I'm interested in trying to use an Army term G2 to try to figure out who are the conservative people that I might be interested in approaching for ideas. For instance, I like the idea of the state invoking its 10th Amendment right to more nullification, things like that in a position. How do I G2 these people to find out who are the more conservative or who might be more amenable to those things?
Yeah, the thing I'd always recommend too is take a look at the scorecards of various organizations. For the conservative organizations, see who ranks at the top. For the liberal groups, see who ranks at the bottom. And that gives you a good idea of who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, who might be amenable to those reforms. Yeah, certainly go through, take a look at something that might be compatible. Legislation that had been done in the past, who was the author, who voted for it, those kind of things. And certainly any one of our groups would probably be more than happy to kind of give you information on any of the members and who might have some free time, anything.
I just have to.
Yes, ma'am. Marilyn Gerschlager from Uniform.